Hey there, since it's still summer here when this video is being recorded, depending on when you're watching it, of course, but I'm showing you another really simple, easy exercise that takes one color of paint, or you can mix it if you want, and then just activating your arm to get some movement going on a blank piece of paper or in a blank art journal page. It's just I found it a great way to kind of get myself in motion, but it also is a great way just to get some paint on paper and call it. It's like, I just want to do 10 minutes or 5 minutes. You can just literally do that and walk away from it. Now, my intention generally when I do that is to come back over it and paint, or it's just like a first layer. But what I've found is a lot of times I really like what I've done because I'm doing it without thinking. There's no pressure to make something grand, except for when you're on camera. And I talk about that in the video. It's like, it was so easy doing it when no one was watching. But when I think someone's watching, then all of a sudden I freeze up and I'm not as loose or as, able to create. So there's that to consider. Obviously, most of us are just, when we are doing our, creativity and different projects and things and exercises, we're not doing it on camera. So I would advise you just to let loose and just go for it when I'm demoing this simple exercise. But before that, I wanted to drop in a clip about something that I have on my website that is for sale, and not that this is a sales pitch or anything, but I wanted to show you kind of sounds like it, right? It's like, oh, here, buy this. But I want to show you these book cover cards that I used to make, and I have a few on my website, and I always figured, like, if you look at them, you're gonna be like, what the heck are those? And so I wanted to show you a little bit more in depth in case you're interested in going there and buying one for yourself. I guess it was a sales pitch. Sorry about that. But anyway, here's the clip. I wanted to take a couple minutes and just show you these book cover cards that I made I don't know how many years ago now. I basically took a hardcover book and cut it down, or sometimes it was the exact size. For example, on something like this, it was that exact size. I covered it with modeling paste, and then in some cases, I used a stencil with modeling paste to create texture, and then I took leather making alphabet and punched in the letters. After that, I painted multiple coats of paint. You can see different colors, and then did a glaze over the top with like a raw umber, and did all kinds of quotes. And I had so many of these stacked up. Well, recently, a few months ago, I came across them again, and I realized I kept some, but there's just too many for me to give as gifts and to use for my own purposes. So I have offered them, I had put them on my website, but I think I have never mentioned them before. So I wanted to bring them up and just show you the different ones I have, or a few of them anyway, quickly, and what they are, because if you could look at them on my website, you wouldn't really get it. You wouldn't know, like, what the heck is it? It's really hard. There's a lot of texture. And here's what I have done with them. I actually have given them as gifts to someone who maybe is struggling with something. It can be an illness or just some personal problems or different things that we all go through. Or to encourage them to, go do it, courage over comfort, seek joy, just different quotes that make someone know that they matter, their life matters, they matter. And then a lot of times what I've done is taken a Sharpie and written something on the back, sent it to them. Sometimes I've included a small easel because it will, just sit right on a shelf or a desk like that. In fact, I have a few of my own words that for me are very relevant and meaningful. And so I just wanted to show you a few, and that if you were interested, they are on my website currently. This is today, this month is July, 2025. So depending on when you're watching this, and they are $30, and that includes shipping. So I just wanted to bring it up briefly, just to let you know that this is something that is available. It's something that I used to make. I do not make them anymore. Oh my gosh, pounding those letters in, I swear, my shoulder, my arm, I made, as you can see, each letter is individually pounded in, and it just became, and ones like this, it's just a lot. So as much as I like doing it, I kind of have moved on, as many of us have. Like, we kind of evolve in our art making and our creativity. We do something for a period of time, and then sometimes we move on. Not always. Sometimes we can keep making them, and I probably would have if it wasn't. It was very time intensive, and also very. And I probably, if I had just stuck to stuff like this with a stencil and then a few words, it probably would have been better because it was very tedious. But I will tell you, if you ever do it, it's very simple. Just take a book cover, modeling paste, a stencil maybe. It does take overnight to dry. In the back, I did collaged with paper, and then I painted a glaze over it. Sometimes the text would show through. But it is a very cool result, especially if you already have like the leather making tools that, you know, you can punch into. It punches into this. So I wouldn't wait, you know, I wouldn't let it wait too long, but it is hard. That modeling paste does get hard, but then you pound the letters in later. So there's probably, maybe there's easier ways to do it. I don't know, but I had a lot of fun making them for a period of time. And I just wanted to show them to you in case anybody was interested in purchasing them. I just have like a few left, but with different quotes, and maybe one of these would resonate with you and you'd be interested. So I just wanted to offer that up and show you and talk about them a little bit. So in case you did get onto my website, that you would know what they are. I will add a link below, and I will, and if you're interested, you can check them out there. Thanks for watching that. And without further ado, let's get started. Lately, what I've been doing when I have leftover paint on my palette, like I do right now, I use it often to create backgrounds. Sometimes I just cover the whole page, but lately what I've been doing, and this is, you could do this without just having leftover paint. This, you could just squeeze something straight out onto your tube. It's a very freeing way to use up paint, but also just to practice getting paint down. And it almost always looks best when you have a fresh page. So nothing on it. You could do it over, there's a little speck of something on there, but you could do it on, you know, paper, you could do it over collage or whatever. But I have just found, all of a sudden I was looking through my art journal, I was like, oh my gosh, I just love that. And typically, let me just get to work and show you what I'm talking about. A lot of times I'll think, oh, I'll just come back over that. But then when I walk away and come back, I think, oh my gosh, I really like that. So for example, I have my brush fairly loaded. I don't have a plan. I'm just going to make some designs over the top. So maybe I make a swish, maybe I make a, you know, something like that. Maybe I make some dots, not dots, but you know what I'm saying, some lines. Maybe another line, thicker, thinner kind of thing. Maybe I squash the paint in, go above, below, whatever it happens to be. Double line. But, okay, so maybe it doesn't look like much. So maybe I want a little bit more here and there. But often when I go back and look at what I've done, I think, oh, wow, just by making a few marks on a piece of paper, even just with, it's not super complex is what I'm trying to say, right? It's not like it's really in depth, but it activates something within me when I do big marks using just one color and just seeing what's gonna happen. And so I have found, maybe I'll do a little bit more, you know, you can come back and do more. My idea often when I'm doing this is, oh, I'll come back and I will paint around it, or this is just the base layer. But often I found that I actually like what I did just by doing this one thing. And I'm not one to, I'm all about texture and layers and multiple colors and combining things. But sometimes I just like the quiet of a simple composition like this. And I have found myself, instead of going back and painting around it, I have found myself leaving it and enjoying just the simplicity of that with the plain background. So, and this is kind of not in my character, you know, like this is not really the kind of way I create, but I wanted to show you this, and I'm going to show you another example, just in case you like have leftover paint, or you're just like, I'm going to show you this real quick. For example, I have this tube of paint that has punctured hole in the bottom. So I've been using it up, you know, trying to use it up because obviously it's going to keep drying up and drying up. So sometimes I have stuff like this that happens, or a big spill, or a whole bunch comes out, and I'm just using it up, and I'm shocked at what comes through. So don't always feel, I guess my point is, don't always feel like you have to do a lot, because sometimes the smallest things can make a big impact. So I'm gonna get another art journal and do another one for you, just to kind of show you just how simple it can be. Is this a great piece of art? Probably not. But is it simple and easy and a way to activate and get you in motion? Yes, because I think sometimes we overthink it and we complicate what it means to just be making and being creative. And it can be as simple as one color on a blank piece of paper. For this one, I'm changing out my brush. I've got this old 1-inch kind of flat brush, and I would recommend trying different brushes. The other brush I was using was a 1.5-inch brush. So we're just going to use this. I just keep combining these colors here, but again, you don't need to combine the colors. You could use it straight out of the tube. It's no problem. It's more about just using what you have and just activating. So I'm trying to do this without thinking too much, and just kind of going for it. Let's see. And I think I'm gonna just leave it. So, because there's a way to kind of overwork it. So it's just going with what do I want to say? The patterns, the shapes that you're really drawn to. I really like these kind of squiggles. What is it that you're drawn to? Is it a sharp edge? Is it something rectangular? Is it straight lines, circles, squares, plus signs, whatever it happens to be, and just do it and put it onto your paper. And maybe I'll do one on paper just to kind of show you that it's just getting things activated and using kind of what you have. Since I showed you this, I decided to squirt out a dab of this. I guess I can't really move this all over so you can see it right here. And I'm just gonna primarily use that with I've used a different shape brush, the filbert brush, and this is I don't know if it's a 1-inch, 3/4 inch. Anyway, I might get a little bit of the other colors in there, but just trying to mix it in a little bit. And the reason I don't often work just directly on paper is because I don't know where to store it. I don't have a great system. I don't have a lot of drawers. I don't have places that I can put flat paper. And so I find that an art journal works better, or sketchbook, because I close it up and I can put it on a shelf when I'm completely done with the book. These sheets of paper, I can cut them down and put them in my art journal, and that is an option. I just find that I don't tend to work on loose leaf paper very often. I also don't work on it because typically if I'm going to make a painting that goes on a canvas, or I just work directly on the canvas. But I know a lot of people that work on paper and then apply it to a canvas or then up frame it. And that isn't something I do as often, but it is definitely an option. So anyway, I don't know if you've ever wondered, but I don't typically show you work that I'm working on just plain paper. I'm going to say too that it's a lot easier to do this when no one's watching, because I feel like now I have to have like some kind of good result. Whereas when I'm doing it by myself, I'm just going for it. But when you guys are watching, I feel like, okay, I can't mess up. And so that's not the right attitude. And that is when you do mess up. So again, with the paper, it doesn't matter. I can cut it up. I can put it in an art journal. I can leave it as is. But as in anything, it's more about your movements and your choice of paintbrushes, your choice of colors, and your choice of movement. And I'm going to continue with this circular movement because that is something that I tend to gravitate towards, if that makes sense. So rather than trying to do something different, which is what I was initially thinking, and I guess that's why I'm hesitating. And now, so there you go. And let's add some things like this. And I don't like, feels a little too symmetrical for me. So maybe it goes like this. And okay, so here's what happened. In the beginning, when I first started this, I was definitely a little looser. And so the idea is to move quickly, to not let yourself get caught up in, like I'm doing now, fixing it or making it into something that it doesn't have to be. It is what it is. And so there you go. So working on paper, working in your art journal, however you decide to do it is fine. I would mix up the brushes. The bigger the bigger the paper, the larger the brush. Like you might, if you have a really large paper, I would definitely use a very large brush. This is like a 2-inch, just a cheap 2-inch brush. And anyway, have fun. I think this is a great idea in things like situations where you need to use up some paint and it gives you an opportunity to practice because your paint's going bad anyway. Or if you're having a hard time getting started, just grab your paint and just start moving around and making some marks, because it doesn't really matter. Now, like what I said before, typically when I do this, I think, oh, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to paint over it, or I'm going to do other things. And I certainly could. You know, I could get this paint and start going for it. But then what happens is a lot of times I put it aside, and later I think, oh, I kind of like that, so I'm not going to paint over it. Probably this one I would. I mean, it's fine. The red oxide, I do like red oxide in general, but this is probably not a color palette that I would gravitate towards. So find your color, even if it's just black, that is perfectly fine too. Just use whatever, like maybe it's a paint that you have a lot of, or a paint that's at the end of something, and just try it. Just make some marks on paper or on your art journal, and you will be surprised at how much you like them. I am guaranteed the more you do it, the looser you're going to get, and the better your marks and your strokes will be on the paper. So, or in an art journal, or however you decide to do it. So this is just another fun, simple, easy burst of creativity for summer, when you don't want to drag out a whole bunch of stuff and you just want to get in there for 10-15 minutes and do something. This is a great, it can be a warm-up, it can be the creative, you know, gesture in and of itself, whatever it happens to be for you. I hope this sparks your imagination and your creativity as you go forward into your own practice. And so anyway, instead of just continuing babbling on, I'm just gonna close it with that and say thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.